Excuse me, sir, is this the Delta House?
Sure. Come on in.
They have cold beer and action on the game.
I'm shocked to find that gambling is going on in here.
It's time for the Degenerates Next Door.
Dollar bills, y'all.
Back, baby. Ready for another week. It's Tuesday, which means it's time to talk a little ball, a little college ball. My name is Jason Hammer. I host the Hammer and Nigel Show, afternoons in Indianapolis, joined by the unofficial mayor of Brownsburg, Indiana, a former elected official in the state of Indiana. He was a tax-cutting machine. He's the man of the people, and he's the number one rated radio host in his own right, Rob Kendall. Rob, hat tip, my friend. You've been rolling early in this college football season.
Yeah, you know, my lengthy background as a college football player and coach has really come in handy. And, you know, man, I mean.
Ryan Clark of ESPN says you're not allowed to have an opinion because you've never played, right? Is that how it works?
Isn't it funny, though, how, like, sports betting, and obviously from the start of the year, you know, you win the first game on some team taking a knee 3 times at the goal line. So, look, there's a lot of skill in it, but we always say this to people, a bunch of it's luck, too. Some guy could fall down on his way to the end zone. Some guy slides at the end zone. Some guy takes 3 knees at the end zone.
Let me tell you about the luck here, because Rob is our clubhouse leader on the scoreboard. Each week, we have 2 official plays, right? We pick some other games, but we have 2 that we hang our hat on. We call them the official plays. So through 3 weeks of college football, week 0, week 1, week 2, Rob is 4-2. And you caught an amazing break in that game in Ireland. Kenny and David are 3-3. And then here's my sad ass, sitting at 1-5. But the difference between 1-5 and 3-3, Rob, was a garbage time kick by Kentucky just to cover the spread.
Yep.
And a scoop and score that screwed up a total in a game. A 60-plus yard scoop and score by Western Kentucky.
I asked you this years ago before we had this show. I said, if you actually know what you're doing, right? Because we talk about this on our show. Like, we've got our pros, Kenny, David. You and I, we're just dudes. We're just reading some stuff. We're having fun with it.
We watch the games, we do the research, and then we make our bets.
Right. But if you actually know what you're doing, the guys who do this for a living, like, what sort of advantage? Like let's say everything starts at 50-50. You got a 50-50 chance, it's going over this or going under this. If you actually know what you're doing, what percentage could you help yourself? And you said maybe 2 to 3%. Enhance your odds of winning. So think about that. People who do this for a living, they live it, and maybe they get a 2 to 3%, advantage.
Sports betting is hard.
Oh, it's totally hard.
Despite what these people on social media will tell you. Like, they're going to say, it's easy. I've got a system. Or there'll be some hot chick with huge cans. She's doing a video and she wants to sucker you in. The real reality is that of the top 10 most betted games this college football season, the house has cleaned up on 9 of them.
Yeah.
90%. 9 out of 10. Of the most heavily bet games, according to the numbers from MGM, have gone to the house.
Yeah.
The only one has been Illinois, which you cashed last week.
That's right. And I didn't even, that's right. Yeah, the -2.5 against Duke. So this is my point on this. Of the 4 of us, I am definitely the least knowledgeable sports bettor. I'm definitely watched the least amount of sports.
But you're a numbers cruncher, though. This is the politician in you coming out.
That's right. I mean, and like last week, I crunched the numbers and said, I love the big fat beer belly of the Illinois coach. So give me Illinois laying 2.5. By the way, I'm sitting there watching that game with my old man, and he's like, he allegedly hooked up with Aaron Andrews?
Allegedly true. That was the rumor. And if it's on the internet, it's got to be true, right? Like, look, I don't know if it happened or not, but I didn't create that rumor. Like, I'd heard it. It'd been out there before. I think he was a little thinner back when he was coaching the Badgers. A little more athletic.
He was a little less heavy.
It was a little less heavy, but that was a rumor that was out there. All right. The way we do things around here is Rob and I are going to make some picks on various football games, but we demand everybody, ourselves and our 2 professional handicappers, Kenny and David, they're going to come on here next segment. We demand everybody pick the game of the week. because that's the game people are going to watch. And if you're going to watch it, you might as well have a little skin in the game here. So the game of the week this week, number 4, Georgia, at number 15, Tennessee. Georgia is a 3.5-point favorite. The total is 49.5, and this game is being played down in spooky Rocky Top, baby. The fall weather. And this is a much earlier meeting than years past. Normally, this was a late season game. They kind of flip-flopped Florida and Georgia on the schedule. So now Tennessee hosts Georgia. What do you do with this, Rob?
I need you to help me, Hammer, because I'm torn. Because I like 3.5. I think Georgia's a much better team, but it's at Tennessee. You don't know how college kids react having to play into that environment. It's one of the largest football stadiums in the world.
First real road game for Georgia.
Crowd is nuts. I don't know, because 3.5 seems like a lot. So I started looking at the over-under, and I've seen it at 49.5 and 50.5. And my instinct says under, but then both of these teams have scored a lot of points early on, but they're both playing like directional schools in Syracuse, who stinks. So what do I do with this? I don't know how good these offenses actually are. What do you learn by playing Syracuse?
Well, here's what I can tell you about Tennessee. Now, I'm going to give you the information I know because I am a Tennessee Volunteers fan, right? This ain't the Tennessee defense of last year. Last year, Tennessee's defense was one of the best in the country. Ultimately, exposed in the secondary against Ohio State, but they had dudes up front. This year, they're okay, but Syracuse put up 26. A directional Tennessee school put up 16 on Tennessee last week. It ain't the Vols defense of last year.
Oh, yeah, and every gut instinct I ever have in my life is wrong. I'm going over!
Oh, we are going over in this one. Over 49.5.
Over? Did you say over?
Did you say over, Rob?
It's just like, but again, what if it goes overtime? You know, this is the thing. You could have a game that's 14-14 and it goes overtime and it ends up over 50. Did it make me any less knowledgeable about football?
No. And you're right here. And what happened with the point spread in this game was exactly what I had hoped would happen, because Tennessee beat the brakes off Little Sisters of the Poor last week. They put 72 up. And Georgia, when you just look at the score, looks like they struggled against Austin Peay. But if you watched the game or followed that game, it was delayed by weather. Conditions were gross. The field was sloppy. Georgia had 2 wet ball fumbles in the red zone. It really wasn't as close as that score indicated. And if there's a coach in this country that's good at being a total red ass on his team after a sloppy performance, it's Kirby Smart.
Yeah.
Kirby beats the brakes off of Tennessee. Now, this point spread opened up. Georgia was a 7-point favorite. It's down to 3.5. And this is the overreaction to Tennessee putting a 70 burger up on Eastern Tennessee. They're not 72 points good. They're not. Now, I don't think Georgia is as solid as they've been in years past. I think the quarterback matchup's actually pretty equal here. Gunnar Stockton against Joey Aguilar. Now, Tennessee didn't miss anything having Nico leave. Have you seen Nico at UCLA? Ass. And it couldn't have happened to a nicer kid.
Buddy.
I mean, he was trying to shop himself before the playoff game. I mean, come on, man. Oregon's coach called Tennessee's coach and said, hey, your boy's trying to join my team. Just wanted to let you know. He was such an idiot, he called the friend of his head coach before a playoff game, Rob.
He stooged on himself.
So Aguilar comes in. This was the guy UCLA dumped, but you give him a decent offensive line.
Yeah.
You give him a running game. And as long as he doesn't lose the game, Tennessee is going to be fine. I feel like this is one of those games where Tennessee might get off to a good start. It's Georgia's first road game. Crowd's going to be rocking. College game days there. Take a look at Vols' first quarter. Vols halftime, but that Tennessee secondary is not very good. I don't care what they say. It's not very good. I feel like Georgia wears them out in the second half. I'm in it for the money. I'm not in it for my heart. You can't call me a homer.
That's right.
Because I'm taking Georgia
Yeah.
minus 3.5 here, Rob.
I like it.
We will bet against our own mothers on this show.
See, I didn't do that in the Bears game, and it cost me.
You're right. Normally, you fade the Bears because you are an unapologetic Bears fan who thinks that every season is 1985. But you bet on the Bears as dogs.
Yeah, huge mistake.
On Monday night, and it backfired. So Rob is on the over. I am going to take Georgia. I'm rooting against my own bet
That's
this
right.
weekend, by the way.
Yeah, you got to do it.
I'll lay 3.5. I think Georgia has a big second half, fourth quarter, and find a way to win that thing. All right, give me another play on a big game.
Well, I'm only betting on things I'm watching this year. I have a 2-year-old. She's a tyrant, so I got to maximize the sports betting to the games that I watch. Notre Dame, Saturday night, they are at home against Texas A&M.
Home game in South Bend. Rudy's dad, your thoughts?
This is the most beautiful sight these eyes have ever seen.
It's the most beautiful sight these eyes have ever seen.
That's your least favorite line in any movie ever, isn't it?
Because he's there with his family.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, you're there with your wife and your other kids, and your other son is out on the field. But seeing the stadium is the most beautiful thing. Not your wedding day, not the day your kids were born. And I hate the fact that he killed Rudy's buddy.
That's true, he did.
Because
Pete. Was it
his,
Pete? Yeah.
his big, factory wasn't OSHA safe, and the only guy that never gave up on Rudy was killed.
Yeah.
Like, the only guy that believed in Rudy. It wasn't his dad. It wasn't his brothers. One of his brothers was banging his girl.
That's true.
Like, it's a dysfunctional family. It's a family of degenerates. The only guy that supported Rudy was his buddy that was killed, and then when John Favreau got fat, his friend at Notre Dame.
Yeah, that's true. Dreams are what make living tolerable. One of the great lines of any movie ever. Pete, I think was his name, that passed away. All right. Notre Dame, not as bad as people think, although their offensive line looked horrible against Miami.
Miami's good, though.
Miami's good. Is Carson Beck good?
Carson Beck is not horrible. He can win you a game.
Yeah, he throws the ball.
He does.
Yeah. All right. So other than the final 5 minutes of that game, Notre Dame's defense looked terrible. You know why it looked terrible? Because I said Jeremiah Love would be a good pick for the Heisman at 40-1. That's why. Anyway.
Why did they go away from him? Why did he not get the carries?
Because how many times have I told you Marcus Freeman is not a good coach?
Like, everybody loves him. Everybody loves him. He's like the player's coach, and he got him to a championship game last year, Rob. Was that not good enough?
No, he wasn't because of him. It was in spite of him. It's like the Patriots. They won in spite of Bill Belichick, not because of him. Anyway, freshman QB, I think Notre Dame's going to win the game, but this spread is 6.5. Texas A&M's not terrible.
Revenge game, Texas A&M. They lost last year at home.
Look, I think their defense is good. Notre Dame's defense is good. We got to go back to the old tried and true. I'm going under 49.5. Notre Dame, Texas A&M.
All right. So Rob is on the under Notre Dame, Texas A&M, 49.5. That does feel like a pretty big number.
Texas A&M could score. I don't think they stop a lot of people either. Utah State got 22 against them. But I think Notre Dame's offense might be that bad.
Okay. You don't have faith in the freshman quarterback to figure it out?
I don't have faith in Marcus Freeman.
Okay. All right. I am going to go to a game where it's a battle of unbeatens.
Oh.
Two teams that are 2-0. They've got dreams of national championships.
Yep.
USC at Purdue, Rob. Last year, it was fade Purdue. We bet against Purdue in every single game.
That's right.
And it wasn't until like week 8 or 9 that odds makers caught on and started making video game spreads, right? Like, we made a killing.
Yeah. That Notre Dame game, which was the third game of the year after Notre Dame lost that directional school, the spread was like 7.5. Notre Dame beat them by like 50. Remember, like, this is the most free money that ever existed.
Right. Because Purdue last year had beaten Indiana State, and everybody thought, oh, this is going to be a even matchup here. It's an in-state rivalry. And Notre Dame just beat the hell out of Purdue. So now Purdue's got a new coach, somebody that's actually competent. I think he's actually going to do a decent job. They brought in the UNLV guy. He brought in a bunch of transfers because everybody on that roster was ass. And I know USC is down and Lincoln Riley's been a disappointment, but USC is 21 points better than Purdue right now. And that's the number, 21.5.
Yeah.
Purdue's better, but they're not there yet. They beat Ball State 31-0, but Purdue only scored 10 points in the second half against Ball State. And then they played FCS Southern Illinois, and they didn't clear that until late in the second half. The final score was 34-17, Purdue only scoring 10 points in the second half. This number is 21.5. And look, USC hasn't played anybody either, but they've scored 132 points. They did what you're supposed to do to Little Sisters of the Poor. They beat Missouri State 73-13 and Georgia Southern 59-20. They've got 132 points and over 1,300 yards of total offense. There's no way Purdue's going to keep up with this. I know it's a cross-country trip. It's an early kickoff, which usually is trouble for the West Coast. But USC, they're going to have a big second half. They're going to pull away, lay 21.5 with the Trojans against Purdue. All right, coming up next, our professional handicappers, Kenny Britt of KB Sports and David Stephanoff of Follow Never Fade. We're going to get their thoughts on Georgia, Tennessee, and we'll make them give some more free plays as well. Don't go anywhere. We're rolling, talking a little college football week 3 here on the Degenerates Next Door. Back on the Degenerates Next Door, I'm Jason Hammer, Rob Kendall with me. And if you're new to the program, the way things work, this is the part of the show where we bring on guys that do this for a living, professional handicappers, and we strong-arm them, we bully them, we demand they give us free plays, everything that goes against their business model. And one of our favorites is Kenny Britt of KB Sports. My man, how are you?
I'm doing great. We're in the thick of football season now. We got both NFL and college going on. And college football, we're going to start getting more conference games going on. I think after this week, all the cupcake schedule stuff's going to start going by the wayside.
Oh, yeah. And we'll get to a pretty big conference game here in just a moment here, Kenny.
Yeah.
But before we move on to anything else, how do you sleep? Because I know you run a professional handicap service, but you also have another job where you have to get up at 4:30 in the morning. And I know damn well you were up on Sunday night watching the end of Ravens and Bills because we're all texting each other, and you have to get up like 4 hours later, and then there's a Monday night game the next night. How do you pull this off?
Well, luckily I've got a boss who's as big as a fan as we are, so he knows that on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Fridays, I could show up, maybe an hour late.
Okay. Power move. I like it.
Yeah.
All right. So let's get into the big one on the board here this week. Georgia taking on Tennessee down in Knoxville. Opened up as a 7-point spread. It's down in some spots to 3.5. Tennessee catching a lot of the public love right now. What are you looking at here, Kenny? The over-under's right around 49.5.
Yeah, the over-under I've seen, probably 1.5 to 2 point spreads between all the sports books, and we'll say it every week, shop, shop, shop. But I think this is going to be a really good game. These first 2 weeks, most teams are playing cupcakes. So we just got to kind of say, so-and-so has done what they have supposed to do so far. Georgia, they beat Marshall 45-7, but then they only beat Austin Peay 28-6. I mean, that's a little concerning in my book. Tennessee, they beat Syracuse 45-26, and then they just crushed East Tennessee State 72-7. So, both teams have done what they're supposed to do, but Tennessee, it's based on a curve because they haven't really played much. I think Tennessee's just done a little more than Georgia has right now. But this game, to me, Jason, has a feel to it. It has a feel. How many SEC games have we seen in that 3:30 window, that national game, that just has crazy endings?
Right.
Like field goals returned for touchdowns.
Right.
Crazy and this game has a feel of a crazy ending to me. So I'm going to kind of stay away from the aside on this game. But I like Tennessee's team total over 23.5, and I'll tell you why. They're putting up some points. Both games they put up, 45 against Syracuse, which is a Division I school. East Tennessee State they put up 72, but how much can we go by that?
Right.
But last year at Georgia they put up 17 at Georgia, and I think they've got a better quarterback this year. I know I texted you week 1 and said, I see the stats, but how does he actually look? And you said he looked okay. He missed a couple throws, but he's played okay. So I think they've got a better quarterback than last year. I think they're at home, and I think they can put up 24 points on Georgia this week. So my official play is Tennessee team total over 23.5, and I think it's going to be one of those crazy endings to a game. I just got that feeling for some reason, Jason.
Isn't it wild to say that Tennessee's quarterback is better when, in essence, they just made a trade with UCLA? Nico went full diva, went out to UCLA, where I know he's not getting the money he wanted. There's nobody in the stands. He's looked like crap so far on that team. And here comes Aguilar, who by all intents and purposes, this is a good kid. He works hard. He was never really a blue chip quarterback. And they're not really missing anything. I don't necessarily know if it's an upgrade, but they're not missing anything. And they certainly don't have a dick in the locker room.
Right. Well, I think Josh, without, we can read between the lines when, coaches say stuff. I think he flat out said, reading between the lines, he's not worth $3 million a year.
Right.
Go to UCLA. Go ahead. See ya.
And the rumors of him shopping himself around during that little off period between the regular season and that game at Ohio State in the college football playoff, the rumors were he and his old man were shopping himself around at that point, and it got back to Tennessee because the Oregon coach who received one of the phone calls called up Heupel, who's a buddy, and was like, hey, your guy's trying to join us here. You got a playoff game coming up.
Yeah, be careful. Be careful what phone call you make, right?
Right.
They probably didn't know there was any connection there whatsoever. And, so, just between the lines, I kind of think Hopkins just said, you're not all that. I think we'll be okay without you. And, so far these first two games, Syracuse is a Power 5 school, and they put up 45 against them. Then they've done what they've supposed to do so far. Again, that's all we can base the first 2 weeks on.
Right.
So far they've done what they were supposed to do. And I think they can put up 24 points on Georgia this week. Georgia just hasn't, it seems like these last 2 years defensively, they're just not as good as they have been. So, I think Tennessee's going to score some points this Saturday in Old Rocky Top. I wish you was going to be there so you could be charging the field if they win, have a drunk Jason Hammer in Rocky Top like we had last year. That would be awesome to see.
And, it would mean Tennessee would beat Georgia, which hasn't happened in a long time. But, again, if there's ever any doubt about the way we roll on this program, because I made my pick earlier, and unfortunately, I'm on the dogs here. I'm on Georgia -3.5 because I don't trust Tennessee's defense. Offensively, they may be okay, but Syracuse did score 26. Now, this is the same Syracuse team that struggled to score against Connecticut, and their coach made them run sprints after the game.
He sure did. I saw that.
And Eastern Tennessee, again, a directional school, Little Sisters of the Poor, they still put 16 up. Okay, now here comes Georgia. They're off a sloppy game last week. And I heard you mention that, but the weather was crap. There was a weather delay. It's hard to get up for one of those Little Sisters of the Poor. If there's any red-ass coach in America to get a team ready, it's Kirby Smart. I said take a look at Tennessee maybe first half, first quarter. This is the first real road game Georgia's played all year. I expect the Vols to come out with a lot of energy. But, man, I do not trust that Tennessee secondary in the second half.
I'm going to play host and have Jason play handicapper for all the listeners. Guys, Jason is diehard Vols, okay? He goes down to the games. Your wife graduated from there, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, so when Jason gives Georgia, that tells you what we are about. We make money first. Everything else comes second.
Right.
So when the Jason Hammer's going against a huge rivalry game, take that serious. That means something.
Yeah, I'm rooting against my own bet this weekend.
Right,
But I'm
right.
telling you, if gun to my head, if my life depended on it, I think Georgia wears them out in the second half. All right.
Well, didn't Rob bet against Notre Dame every game last year?
He did.
The little reverse psychology bet. Yeah. There you
He
go.
did. And we got another play that you're going to pass out for us here. What are we looking at?
All right, I got one more little Jason Hammer handicap in here for you. I'm going to go to the Memphis-Troy game. Again, repeating myself again, but Memphis has done what they're supposed to do. They've beaten Tennessee Chattanooga 45-10, Georgia State 38-16. They've got a history. They put up a lot of points. They go to bowl games every year. Some people think they might be the team to get into the playoffs this year. I think this line is a little overreaction to, again, you talked about the weather last week. Troy played Clemson last week. Troy had Clemson down 16-0 at halftime. I think people are starting to wonder how good Clemson is now. Clemson had to come back and, they won that game 27-16. So I think this line is a little bit of a reaction to Troy playing with Clemson last weekend. It's only 4.5. I think the line should be more. Troy's only other game, they beat Nicholls State 38-20, but they had to score 28 points in the fourth quarter to do that. I went back and looked at Nicholls State. Again, this is some Jason Hammer handicapping here. Nicholls State lost to West Georgia Hammer. That's a football school. Nicholls State lost to West Georgia 34-10 last week, and last year was West Georgia's. They had just moved up from D2 to FCS. So,
okay.
Piece all that together. Troy hasn't played anybody or hasn't beat anybody good. I really like Memphis. Long story short, I love Memphis minus 4.5. You can get that on DraftKings. It's 5.5 on FanDuel, but on DraftKings it's 4.5. I think Memphis beat them by double digits, so I'm on Memphis minus 4.5.
All right, so we got the Vols, Tennessee team total over 23.5, and Memphis, we're going to lay 4.5 against Troy. Kenny, if somebody wants to become a client of yours, if they want the college football, the NFL, the horse racing, and everything in between, where can they go?
Yeah, we're on Facebook, KB Sports. We went 3-2 last week in college football, 8-7 on the year in college football. We've been talking about this every day in our text thread. Of the 10 most betted college football games, the most heavily bet team is 1-9 right now.
Yeah, the house is making
football.
a killing. 90%. The top 10 most bet games, the house has won 9 out of 10.
So 8-7 in college football, I'll take right now. It's not great, but it is profitable. We'll get better, but we've kept our head above water. We've lived to fight another day through these first 2 weeks, and the house is crushing people, but my clients are making a little bit of money. So, yeah, there we go. And, Facebook, KB Sports. Looking forward to the Tennessee-Georgia game. You got Notre Dame A&M Saturday night. I wanted to tell you real quick, Jason, I just saw this morning, next week, the Big Ten has announced that the Illinois-IU game is going to be on the NBC National Game of the Night next Saturday night.
Okay.
That will be exciting for us here in Central Indiana.
You know what? That better be a sellout, because what I saw
freaking better be.
in the first week in Bloomington was a lot of open seats, and it was a beautiful day, and I get Labor Day weekend, and maybe some students were gone, but this was an Indiana team coming off a college playoff, appearance. There's got to be a sellout in that joint. It's not like it's 110,000 in the big house. Put some butts in seats, Bloomington.
If you're not from Central Indiana, IU playing in the IU in the football playoffs last year would have been the equivalent of a Martian landing in Beech Grove, Indiana.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So that's how big that was. So Yeah, next week's game better be a sellout. It better be loud and rocking. I hope both teams win this weekend. I'm not sure if Illinois is playing or not, but I hope they both go into it undefeated next Saturday night, because that is the NBC national game, and I cannot wait for that.
All right, my man. We will talk to you on Thursday when we do the NFL show.
Have a great day, Jason.
All right, we go from one professional handicapper to another, because that's the way we do things here on the Degenerates Next Door. David Stephanoff, the man behind FollowNeverFade.com, joins us. And David, the big game of the week, we don't shy away from it around here, and we don't act like homers. It's Georgia at Tennessee. I am a card-carrying member of Rocky Top Nation, Go Big Orange, but my bet's on Georgia. I'm rooting against my own bet this weekend, David. I'm on the Dogs -3.5.
All right, Hammer. Thank you for having me. Shout out to Kenny in the Mayor Brownsburg. This is going to be a do or die game for Tennessee. I think, Hammer, do or die. I think with you, their defense is kind of suspect. Georgia played better than it looked last week. Austin Peay's not a shit team, a bad team at all. They're going to probably be one team, the best teams in our conference. The weather was a factor. They fumbled the ball twice, once in the red zone. Don't let the Austin Peay game scare you. I think this game, I'm kind of leaning towards you. I know that Kenny and Rob both kind of tended the over here in this game. I started to like the over in this game a lot at first, but after seeing the money splits on this, all the money's on the over, and the total's dropped 2 points. So I'm going to stay away from the over for the team total. But I'm with you guys. I'm kind of leaning towards Georgia here, and I like the team total over 26 points.
Okay, so you're on the Georgia Bulldogs. Team total over 26.
Over 26 points. I just think that they're like you said, Tennessee's defense is suspect. They're banged up. We know they're banged up. I think Georgia has the best quarterback, one of the best quarterbacks nobody's talking about. He was good last year. He's not been too bad this year. I just think Tennessee's, they still haven't beat the big boys up there with, they got the home field advantage. Don't believe it. Ryland Stadium will be off the chain. But I just think talent-wise, strength of schedule, but overall, this is a game for Georgia to, put down that they're one of the best teams in the SEC right now early in the season.
Yeah, and this is the first road game for Georgia, and I told Kenny, I mentioned it earlier, take a look at Vols first quarter, take a look at Vols at halftime, but man, in that second half, I just think that big Georgia offensive line will start to wear down Tennessee. They might have some success on the ground, and I do not trust the Tennessee secondary.
Everybody likes this game over. It scared me. Like I said, all the money's on the over. In Vegas dropped this game almost 1.5, 2 points. So it kind of scares me as a public pick there.
Yeah.
But I'm still going to think Georgia can put up 4 touchdowns.
Fade the Public's been very profitable so far in this college football season. What other game we got here? What are we doing?
Okay, I'm going, this is gross, off the radar, not off the radar, but this is a gross pick. Missouri playing Louisiana Lafayette. Missouri just knocked off Kansas, a big rivalry game. They got a huge matchup with South Carolina next week. They get the Raging Cajuns coming into home. Raging Cajuns just got beat by Rice, and then they come back after losing to Rice and beat the high-powered McNeese State. We're going to take the gross Louisiana Lafayette plus the 28 points here. If it's 27.5 some places, I'm going to bite off a key number and just get 28. Louisiana Lafayette plus 28. Missouri's in a sandwich spot. They got a big game last week, big game next week, huge win last week. A horrible spot for them. Louisiana Lafayette, we're going to sprinkle a little plus 28. I'm going to take a little first half money line. I think they can hang with Missouri definitely. Just a bad spot for Missouri. Look ahead next week. Louisiana Lafayette's better than they look on paper. We're going to take a gross Louisiana Lafayette Raging Cajuns plus the 28 points versus Missouri Tigers. Hammer.
And I'm glad you bring up a game like this, because when you're dealing with college kids aged approximately 19 to 23 years old, some of them are older now because they've been there for a long time, but listen, they can look past opponents. The kids on Missouri's campus, they've had all week telling them how great they are. They beat their rival. You beat Kansas. You got a big game coming up. And lo and behold, here come the Raging Cajuns, and they're catching 4 touchdowns.
You're right, and they get probably the Heisman winners they face next week in Sellers in South Carolina, and it's going to be, SEC game. It's going to be a game. SEC is going to be a good game. SEC game.
All right, man. Hey, if somebody wants to become a client of yours, whether it's for college football, NFL, tennis, baseball, you name it, where can they go?
Hey, we're on everywhere. Real quick, shout out to Carlos Alcaraz, Baby Goat. If you guys followed me here on the podcast, I had a couple people reach out. He won the U.S. Open over Yannick Sinner. Hope you guys follow me there. Yes, so that's twice. He won the French Open for us. He let us. He didn't win Wimbledon, and he cashed for us. U.S. Open. But hey, follow me everywhere: Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. This week in NFL, Hammer can vouch for me. Absolutely on fire. I was 10-1 this week in NFL. You won't find a capper out there went 10-1. We swept Sunday. We had a bad beat last night with the under in the Monday Night Football game. We were absolutely on fire in football this week. Buy my football package. You get baseball and tennis free, people. Baseball and tennis are free when you sign up for our football package. Like I said, message me directly, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. Shout out to KB Sports. Shout out to the mayor of Brownsburg, Rob Kendall, and you, the captain of the ship. Thank you again, Hammer, for all you do. And don't forget to follow, never fade.
All right. You heard the picks of our professional handicappers. Rob and I, we've got even more picks, more action. We're going to get nuts. We've got a Degenerate special. That's coming up next here on the Degenerates Next Door. Back on the Degenerates Next Door, I'm Jason Hammer. Rob Kendall is here. We've heard from our professional handicappers. We've all made our picks on Georgia at Tennessee. The big game on the schedule, SEC conference ball. But what if I told you there's another game that you can win money on that spins the exact same as that one? We call it the Degenerate Special.
It's time for Hammer's Degenerate Special.
I don't know why anybody would want to watch Georgia at Tennessee with like 105,000 rowdy people singing in the stands when they could watch Buffalo at Kent State, Rob. Buffalo at Kent State, a little maction on a Saturday. And Buffalo is a 21.5 point favorite here. We mentioned it earlier. Last year, Operation Fade Purdue was very profitable. So what I tasked myself with, Mr. Kendall,
Yes.
was finding the worst team in the FBS and fading them every week.
Yep.
And I believe I found my huckleberry. It's Kent State. Kent State is awful. They are awful. This game is at Kent State, which means about 5 people will be in attendance.
Yep.
The over-under's 48.5. I'm staying away from the total because I don't know how much help Kent State's going to give you. So we are looking at Buffalo here, minus 21.5. And the reason why certainly isn't because Buffalo is really good. They played Minnesota in week 1, kind of a close game, 23-10. They went toe-to-toe with Row the Boat guy. Then they blew out FCS St. Francis 45-6. Buffalo isn't great, but Kent State stinks, and they can't stop anybody. Kent State is giving up 39.5 points per game. They gave up 62 to Texas Tech. Okay, that's fine. But 17 to FCS Merrimack. They needed a kick return to the house to beat FCS Merrimack. So I am going with Buffalo here. Conference game, a little maction. I will lay 21.5. Operation Fade Kent State is underway.
Yeah.
So if that game doesn't move you, if that doesn't get the motor running, how about we, I don't know, get a little nuts?
All right, you want to get nuts? Come on.
Let's get nuts! Lights out! Now you want to get nuts? Come on! Let's get nuts.
Rob, let's get nuts.
Yeah, as you know, this is all this month. We're leading up to culminating in one of the Super Bowl events of golf, and maybe actually the biggest event in all of golf. Now, it is the Ryder Cup, which is only played every 2 years. It's USA versus Europe. These two groups of guys hate each other. It's the one time fans boo the other team.
Yes.
It's awesome, man. So all of our...
I like booing other countries.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's like, I mean, there's hatred.
That's why we like the Olympics, right? Because it's not because we're so passionate about the USA. We like to boo the Russians.
Yeah, and so every Let's Get Nuts this month, it's maybe my favorite event in all of golf. And by the way, just heads up, September 26th through the 28th, I'm just going to be drinking excessively for 3 days. I've told my wife no parenting of any sort. I'm taking one of the days off of work. So here's how it works, Hammer. You got to get 14.5 points to win the Ryder Cup if you're the team who didn't win the last time. So the USA would have to get 14.5 points to win the Ryder Cup. However, there can also be a tie. 14 points, 14 to 14 is a tie. In that case, Europe would keep the Ryder Cup.
You know what I'm hearing right now?
Yes.
I'm hearing a lot of fuzzy math.
Yeah.
Man's practicing fuzzy math again.
Fuzzy math.
It's golf. It doesn't have to make sense. Here's the deal, though. You can bet on the USA to win, currently minus 135. You can bet on Europe to win, currently plus 140. Or you can bet the tie at plus 1,200.
Oh, go on.
So if you think there'll be a tie at the Ryder Cup, 12 to 1, that could be your Let's Get Nuts.
All right. Want to get nuts? Come on.
Let's get nuts! Lights out! Now you want to get nuts? Come on! Let's get nuts.
All right, let's recap the board here. God, I hate even saying this. I feel like I'm going to throw up. Georgia, minus 3.5 at Tennessee. And then the Fighting Lincoln Rileys, the Trojans, minus 21.5 at Purdue. I'm a chalk-eating weasel this weekend, Rob.
Would you rather have the money or Tennessee win?
Boy, that's an interesting question. Honestly, Tennessee win.
Yeah, I agree.
Tennessee win.
Yeah, I agree with you. You got to as a fan. Okay, I am over, thanks to the advice of you and some of our other fine folks on this award-winning program.
Have you seen my record so far? You're taking my advice? Go with the pros. The pros were the ones that led this charge.
Well, yeah, I think they were on it too. So we'll all lose together probably. I'm going over 49.5 in Tennessee, Georgia, and I am going under 49.5 in Notre Dame versus Texas A&M.
Official plays from our handicappers. Kenny Britt of KB Sports. He's on the Tennessee Vols team total over 23.5, and he likes Memphis minus 4.5 against Troy. David Stephanoff of followneverfade.com. He likes the Georgia Bulldogs team total over 26, and the Ragin' Cajuns in a little trap spot against Missouri plus 28. Those are our picks. Do with the information as you wish. For the unofficial mayor of Brownsburg, Rob Kendall, for Kenny Britt, for David Stephanoff, I'm Jason Hammer. We will talk to you on Thursday for the big NFL show. We'll have action on Thursday night. Mr. Monday Night will be here. All of the Sunday plays on the big games. And we do it all for free. Tell your friends, baby. We are the Degenerates Next Door. And as always, may the odds be ever in your favor.